Okay, number 3. So there's a channel out there that a lot of people are sub to. I've been sub to for quite a while, but I haven't watched a lot of his videos lately. And really, it's not anything personal. It's just, you know, I get bombarded by a lot of this stuff, and there's just some days where I'm like, you know what, I'm just gonna watch nothingness. I'm just gonna. Oh, sorry, battery's telling me it's 20% left. Yeah, I know. And so I'm gonna start watching some of the stuff over the next little bit. But Jeff made this really easy, and I'm sure there are people that are like, "Oh my, how will I ever do this video?" It's so difficult. It's really, who's your favorite band? And some people will be like, "Wow, these guys could be my favorite band," and these guys, I mean, geez, I have a lot of bands that I really, really love, and I could have went with Down, I could have went with Sabbath, I could have went with Slayer, but there's only one. And that's the band that really, really, really took me and said, you are going to love this. You are going to love all incarnations of this band, all records. And it's none other. And some of you are probably going to be like, just say it. We know you're going to say it. It's AC/DC. Okay? I mean, obviously, this isn't anything new for you guys. If you've watched this channel for long enough, you know. And I hold up these two because Powerage is literally my number 1. This is probably number 4, number 5, maybe even lower. It's been a while since I looked at my ranking video for AC/DC, but regardless. Some of my favorite albums, though, are like lower on the, like Blow Up Your Video's a great record. For Those About to Rock's a great record. My number 2 and my number 3 are sort of, it's kind of like a tie almost between Fly on the Wall and Flick the Switch. But this one usually always beats them out. I started listening to these guys on the Who Made Who album in 1987, 1988. I was 7 years old. And up until that point, I had been listening to like a lot of country, a lot of pop country, a lot of outlaw country. And I'd heard the Stones, and that was good. But I needed something harder. I needed something with swagger. I needed something with something that'll just make your fucking hips just swivel, you know? And if I can find it. Here it is. Now, it's not this actual cassette. Right there, that was the first one. And it wasn't Who Made Who, actually. It was side 2. My buddy put it in, rewound it. And the opening track, that's also the opening track to this, is Hell's Bells. Hell's Bells, with the gong, the intro guitar, I was like, ooh, okay, this is really nice. And then as it builds up and builds and builds and builds, and then all I hear is, I'm a rolling thunder, pouring rain. I'm coming on like a hurricane. White lightning's flashing across the sky. You're only young, but you're gonna die. And the way Brian sings, it's like, oh, ooh, girl. Like, you mean to tell me there's someone out there that sings like this? Mind you, I've obviously heard different bands later on that have done far harsher, more lower and higher. I just was just blown away. And this literally, I must have borrowed this cassette for like weeks on, weeks on end, and then I would return it, and then I'd bring it back. And of course, I'm pretty sure my buddy Mark's brother, Colin, was just like, "You ever gonna bring that back?" I kind of like to listen to it again. You know what I mean? And they literally became the band I was obsessed with and I've been obsessed with for the last, for 33. Well, this October I turned 40, so it's been a 33-year obsession with that band. And there's been times where I've not listened to them because, you find other things. Every so often, a song will come on my phone or, the radio, or I'll just be like, that's DC. Grab my CDs and throw them in the car. And of course, can't do that because my new car doesn't take CDs. So, and of course, after a while, you hear Razor's Edge in 1991, and I've been deep into them at that point. Heard Hell's Bells, yada yada yada, and then I go through elementary. That helped out big time. They helped out in junior high because I was a nervous wreck of a kid, and I only had a few tapes at the time, and CDs were starting to come out, and build, and I get to high school, and I get to grade 11. So this is the point where I'm like really head over heels with girls, and I don't know what I'm doing, and I'm just like this nerdy kid that all I want to do is listen to music, which is fine. From about the end of grade 10 to the end of grade 12, I had this cassette, I had this CD, I had that playing, I had this, so I had pretty well these here, and so I had obviously, Razor's Edge, For Those About to Rock, Blow Up Your Video. This was a big part of my day. Powerage, Highway to Hell, which is over there somewhere. But then there was this fella that kind of sneaked in and caused a bit of mayhem too. Ball Breaker. So, what do I like about these guys? Well, it's rather simple. It's simple songs, well written, performed with a shit ton of angst, a shit ton of power. Just off to the side here. Delivered with a bunch of vibrato. Grab one more over here. Of course, this is their new record. It's got power, it's electric, it's loud, it's simple, and it's no longer than 5 minutes. It's no longer than 4 minutes usually. You literally have 5 of the ugliest dudes in the band. Of course, it's, there's Brian, Ang, Stevie Young, who's replaced his brother Malcolm, Cliff, and Phil. It's extremely difficult to put on an AC/DC record, put on, say, Powerage. If you put on Fly on the Wall, Flick the Switch, Stiff Upper Lip even. Put those records, if you take their discography and you put it on, record after record, CD after CD, tape after tape, it doesn't matter. At some point in time, you are going to feel happy. You're going to feel that sort of, oof, I got to get up and I got to dance, I got to bop and I got to, bang my head a little bit. You kind of want to sing along to some of the tracks that you know. You're going to listen, you're going to be like, ooh, that's a bit cheeky, lyrically. Or you'll put on a video or you'll watch a live concert. Be it Brian or Bon Scott on vocals. You're going to have a good time. And And honestly, if you don't like them, that's cool. But honestly, if you dig into if you dig into stuff like that's not on the radio, because I'm sure you've heard it 1,000 times. Listen to this. Powerage, Stiff Upper Lip, Fly on the Wall, Flick the Switch, Ball Breaker, Blow Up Your Video. Listen to the stuff that's not all over the radio. So, while Highway to Hell and Back in Black are good records, if you can skip over those other songs, the ones that they've played, like You Shook Me All Night Long and Back in Black a lot, if you listen to songs that are not those, you'll love them. Trust me. Out of every band I love, every band I show, every band I talk about, no matter what, these guys are just it. They're the reason why I play in bands. Brian, with the way he delivers things, the way he sings, the way he writes his lyrics, the way he structures his lyrics, everything about Brian Johnson, every single thing, I do because of him. As I mentioned before, like with Down and Phil, like, I don't sing like Brian. I tend to want to focus on how Phil comes across. But if it wasn't for Brian, I never, or even this band, I honestly don't think I would have as much passion about music, being in a band, singing, yada, 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 if it wasn't for these guys. And we lost Malcolm in 2017, and that was hard. It was very hard. The song on this record here, Power Up, called Through the Mist of Time. When you listen to that, it's one that people will be like, wow, this is really beautiful. Listen to it lyrically and tell me you don't get sad in some way, shape, or form. There's not a lot about these guys that I could say that you haven't already heard, but they're the literal reason why I'm obsessed with music the way I am. And when they're all gone, it's going to be real hard. A world without AC/DC for me, it's pretty empty musically. Musically, of course. I'm kind of thinking about it, and I really shouldn't be. Because, you know. Congrats, Jeff, on a big milestone. I think I need to make my, I think I need to get a playlist just for these guys. Because it's been a hard go for the last little while, and I think I need to listen to them a little more, if you know what I mean. Because there are times where I get down and I get pretty upset, and sometimes I usually turn to like the heavier stuff. But I think it's time to go back to the guys. Just to remind myself where I've been and what I need, you know? Cheers, guys.